Culture, powered by Flavour, with Dan, Shukle and Itty Red Scarf.
Red Scarf, no Shukle with us this week. However, we've got some very, very special guests in the building today for Culture on your Sunday. And Itty Red Scarf, man, you want to give the props and give the announcements?
Big shout out. So we got Big Ses in the house, DLar and JP. Yo. All of them are representing 1 ounce.
One ounce, hey, and not the 1 ounce in the street, eh? Oh, well, you probably could, but not the sometimes. So you want to tell us a little bit more about 1 ounce?
Yeah, it's a cappella battle rap league. We've been around 9 years now, heading into our biggest year this year. So more or less, we set up the events. We let people know who's battling each other. They go home, they prepare, they watch that person's videos, study as hard as they can, they prepare all their rhymes, and then we meet up on the night at the venue wherever we're holding the event and go through the card. Yes.
Basically like a UFC with words.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So how long's a round?
Usually 90 seconds to 2 minutes, depending on who's battling who.
Okay.
Some people would like to go longer, so it just really depends. Yeah. But usually it will be 90 seconds per round.
So you said it's been around for 9 years.
Yeah.
Have you all been involved throughout those 9 years, or who has been involved for how long? And
I've been there from the start.
Yep.
Ses came through maybe
4 years.
halfway through.
Yeah.
Started helping us out with staffing. JP's relatively new to the league, but he's definitely one of the top gunners in the league now.
Yeah. So in those sort of 9 years you've been involved with 1 ounce and been involved with you said a cappella freestyling? Yeah, cool. So no beats, it's just straight rhymes.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. What's the growth been like? So I can imagine at the beginning 9 years ago would have been relatively underground, relatively limited amounts of talent, but what's the growth been like in those 9 years?
Yeah, well, we started just doing it in parks. We were borrowing cameras to film the events.
Oh, like the New York old school cypher scenes, that type of thing.
Yeah. We'll just have a park usually where we'll meet up and everyone goes in a circle, and as I say, would ask our friends if they could bring their cameras through and stuff like that. And now we just kept building throughout this time, and now we're doing it in nightclubs, venues. We own all our equipment. We book internationals a couple of times per year. Had some of the biggest names in the world here to battle.
Yep.
But it still is relatively underground. It's quite a niche market. It's you'll love battle rap or you'll hate it, more or less. Yeah.
So there's more and more battle rappers though that are out there now. Yes,
yeah.
I mean, it was 9 years ago. I mean, starting out small in the parks. Now you're moving into venues and stuff where you're actually holding proper tournaments or proper competitions and that sort of thing. Definitely. How many? Say you have an event tomorrow or next week or whatever. How many battle rappers do you get registered for an event like this?
Sometimes up to 50.
Yo,
wow.
And we have to pick 16 or less to battle on the night.
Yep.
So yes, a lot of people miss out now that the league's growing, but it's just how it is. We go for the best talent, the best matchups, to make the culture stronger.
So JP, what makes a good battle rapper?
I mean, it's changed there. I think just going back to what you said about the evolution of battle rap, it's I think especially in New Zealand, you can tell the early years it was quite lowbrow, your mom jokes and
toilet humor.
Real lowbrow kind of stuff. Still real funny.
Yeah.
A lot more joke orientated, but now the evolution, I think it's due to the fact that it's just evolved worldwide. I mean, in New Zealand it's quite niche and quite small, but overseas, even in America, the kind of the NBA of battle rap, URL. And KOTD, probably the two biggest leagues. I think URL just signed a deal with Caffeine in partnership with Drake. So it's blowing up at the moment overseas. In New Zealand it's still growing, but I think now that it's evolving, I think what makes a good battle rapper is just someone that really knows how to be creative with words, someone that knows how to think outside the box, be original, know how to be funny, know how to be aggressive, know how to I think command, have stage presence, really command a crowd. So I think those are all things that incorporate, I think, a real good battle rapper.
How do you deal with sort of a hostile crowd? So say if the other guy drops a real good line and the crowd is just going crazy, how do you kind of combat that part?
I think it depends like where you're battling, like, because even in Auckland, like you got West Auckland, South Auckland, the crowds that come, they can be different in what they respond to. I think it's just about being confident, having experience. I mean, there's been a few times where I've been on stage, I battled someone, my first couple battles, and like the other guy's getting like crazy reaction, and for me it's like, damn, how do I bring back that kind of get the crowd back on my side? And a lot of battle rappers, what they'll do is they'll rebuttal, they'll freestyle at the start of their round something that the other person has said. You say you said something about what I'm wearing. I might start my round off like, oh, you said something about what I'm wearing, blah, 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 and I'll kind of freestyle of what you have said. And often that really, like, crowds react to that kind of on the spot, thinking on your feet ability. It's a good way to get kind of crowd back on your side. But it takes, I mean, I'm still feeling new. I've been doing this for a couple of years. There's been battlers that have been doing it for, 5, 6, 7 years. So I think a lot of it's just experience, being confident on stage, and yeah.
Oh man,
Ses, how did you get into battle rapping?
I was a hater. I'll be honest. I was a hater.
A real one now.
Me and DLar, we grew up in the same area, so I knew who he was, and I've seen a few of the events. I was a hater. I decided to put my money where my mouth was and give it a go. So I had a couple of battles. I was the best. Anyway,
He was the best. Humble.
The battle scene wasn't really for me, but I really love the culture because it's sort of one of those elements that hasn't been sort of tarnished by these new waves have been coming in and really putting their own little remix on things, and it's probably one of the elements that hasn't been sort of like I just said. So I
commercialized,
So I just started sponsoring and started a little business and started sponsoring and trying to help out. Because it's like another avenue for some of these young fellas who don't want to be doctors and stuff. Who can give it a good crack, eh?
Or do both.
Or do both. Doctor.
Well, everyone's got different talents, eh?
There's
lots of undercover cats out there, probably at school, at high school, writing poetry and rhymes and that sort of thing, and music and that sort of stuff, that don't understand how to have what the platform is to be able to get that coverage, So I guess you guys are providing that. I mean, your discussion group on Facebook's got 7,500 followers in itself, so that shows that the scene is active, it's vibrant at the moment,
We've got a few. Can I shout out our sponsors?
Yeah, man, you can.
We've got a few sponsors that have been real loyal and helped out a lot in the last couple of events.
It's important, especially when you're starting out.
So we've got Clint
developing. Sorry, bro. Go ahead.
So we've got Clint and the team at Work Fine Order, and then SS Civil and Drainage, who are solid. Unified Championship Wrestling from Christchurch, Ghost Like Records, Sulphur City, and then a couple of others that help out too.
Which you can check out, and you guys have a website or somewhere on Facebook they can check out these other sponsors and get all the details?
Yeah, on our discussion group, everything's on there.
No worries. So when's your next gig? Or event, I should say. I shouldn't just call it a gig. I think sometimes I automatically assume because of music you call it a gig. But when's the next event?
28th of March.
Oh, yeah, so not too far away?
Yeah.
Cool. So we got Face the Hate 5. Which is 28th of March 2020, and it's going to be at Velvet on Cross. Auckland City.
Yeah.
We usually the last big Face the Hate sort of nearly sold out. Pretty much. We reached capacity. We couldn't really get anyone else in.
So when these guys are battling, are they battling for money or a championship, or is there like a title?
Yeah, there's a title now. There's been a title for a while, but we actually just made the title from a necklace into like a wrestling belt type thing.
Oh,
like
cool.
A boxing belt.
Yeah.
Which people were like ahhing about, but when we presented the belt, it was super hype, and Alenzo's our current champion, and he's been rocking the belt, you know, like, if I was the champ, I would have worn it over my shoulder or around my waist, 100% certain of that, you know, like, it's real dope, and we do prizes as well, like, certain battles, people put up their own money.
Oh, wow.
And then other battles, we put up a prize, depending on how much demand the battle has.
Yeah. And you were saying earlier that the females also enter the battles. So what is the female MC scene like when it comes to battle rap?
It's actually quite small here. We've probably got about 5 active females here. But we got a couple of really good ones. Raw Thought, she's battling the champion in a non-title match next event. So that kind of shows how good she is. And we got Scripture, who's battling Robin Rhymes from Texas at our next event.
Okay, yeah.
So it's going to be the first female international that we've had. So it's definitely growing, and we're hoping that more females see it and say, hey, I want to try this out.
Just with do the females kind of have any sort of advantage when it comes to the battle scene? Like, do guys kind of take it a little bit more easier because it's a girl, or do you guys go for the cliche kind of rhymes against them?
Guys won't hold back, but females will kind of get extra props. I've kind of felt that the whole time, but I've never felt it's unfair. It's just because they're a female and they're dope, the crowd's more hyped about it.
I suppose it's like anything, you know, with UFC, even, you know, the development of participation in all genders, you know, male, female, young, old, and that sort of thing is good for any scene, good for any sport, you know, and effectively what you guys do is a sport, really, isn't it?
It's definitely become a sport now, battle rap.
How do you work out who challenges are?
A lot of the battles kind of work themselves out.
Is it mainly voted, like, does there judges, or is it crowd, you know, reactions, things like that? Well, so let's take a battle, one-on-one battle now first. How is the winner decided in one of your events?
Well, these days most of the battles are promo, which means people just vote for who they think won once it goes on YouTube. But then if we have like a title match or cash on the line, it will be a judged battle, and we'll pick like 5 veterans from the scene who kind of are in touch with what's going on and can give a credible judging. Because it's definitely something that's really hard to judge, especially if it's a close battle. You're like, you're like, is it a draw? I don't know who won. He won. It's so hard sometimes. So we'll pick like 5 guys who have been around the scene. Sometimes even musicians who aren't battle rappers. Will judge the events, and
because they understand wordplay and all that sort of stuff, you know. They get the punchlines, they get all of that sort of stuff, you know.
Are there any sort of New Zealand artists that you think that would be good to transition from like mainstream radio to battle rap?
We've been trying to get there, mate.
Not to call him out.
I'm gonna say his name. The man who'd be the man is Big Rex.
We've been trying to get some, but they just don't really seem too keen to.
Is that because for them they feel like more is on the line for them because of the mainstream name? That they have?
And possibly even stepping backwards. You know, they're making music. A lot of them are making money. And they used to battle. And they see what happens in battle rap now, and they're like, a lot of them say, my sword's not sharp enough to battle rap anymore. Would they feel like a young guy's just going to tear them apart, possibly, you know?
You see it all the time, though, guys that were battle rappers back in the day that gone on to commercial success, see it in the States, and then they go back into the scene, and then they just get murked. Like, because they're not there every day, you know? I recently saw Cassidy's battle.
Watch Cannabis as well.
I saw Cannabis lose.
That was really disappointing for Cannabis thing.
Well, the other issue you got too is that you think about Cannabis, for instance. He's probably, let's be honest, the top 30 hit rapper of all time. Right? Cannabis has come from being the dopest of the dope in the 90s, mid 90s, to now where it is all different, you know, wordplay is different, social interaction, everything else, the world is just a different place. It's hard to be able to go, you know, do it now, considering you may not be quite in touch with what's going on in the streets or what's going on in pop culture or subculture or anything like that. So it must be pretty hard for them, eh?
And there's so much more to just rapping. Even your nerves, getting the crowd on your side is definitely something that's really hard to do if you don't have the experience or you're not in touch with like what's going on these days. So a lot of people seem to come back and just not really choke, but just, you know, they got that real intimidated look because the crowd is intimidating. Like, I just host, and a lot of the time I'm really nervous when there's, you know, a few hundred people standing there waiting for us to start the battle.
So for you, JP, just with you, if you're preparing for a battle, how much preparation goes into it? Like, what's are you able to share like some of the process? Obviously, we don't want to give away.
Oh no,
what you're doing, stuff like that.
Honestly, it really depends on like who I'm battling, like life situations, like how life is going. If I've got other priorities, responsibilities, but I mean, I think a lot of it is just at the moment I've got a battle. Like I said, March 28th. Like I haven't started like properly writing yet, so it's like I got like maybe 5 weeks.
Who's your opponent?
I'm battling someone called Tracer.
Yeah.
He's a former champ, so he lost the belt at the last event to the bro Alenzo.
He's from the same crew as you?
Yeah, Alenzo. We've got Alenzo PFAC, who's probably like the most well known out of all of us. He's battling the international Chilla Jones. So we're all from a crew called B Team. So I think back to what you're saying, like the process is it's just studying, like watching your opponent, their previous battles, just trying to pick them apart, some of their mannerisms, like things that they tend to do, things that they tend not to do, things that they've said, and it's all about crafting words to kind of like attack like their weaknesses. So it's definitely evolved again, like going back to like the evolution of just like rapping like 16 bars just that could appeal, like that could go to anyone. They're not really directed at you. I could just say anything. That's kind of like old battle rap, still dope, and but now it's more direct. It's more, you said this last time, or we know this about you, and it's trying to say things that you know the crowd is going to react or respond to. So it takes a lot of intelligence. Like I think the preconceived ideas that battle rappers, especially like in the New Zealand scene, is kind of like there's kind of like a preconceived idea that it's not, I don't know what the word is, but it really takes a lot of intelligence to really write, 3-minute rounds, three 3-minute rounds of material, which is like 60 bars. So that's like 180 bars. That's, some people, that's like an EP. And we gotta memorize that every event. So it takes a lot of skill, So shout out to battle rappers.
So do you, like, for your own sort of personal, like, Facebook and Instagram, do you have to put that like on private because you don't want people to find things to pick apart?
I think some people do, but I think like if you're like comfortable with who you are, like I'm not really. I mean, I think that's again, that's kind of like quite an old, for me, that's kind of like an old kind of approach, is like getting really personal, looking at someone's like personal life and like their family and kids. Like that's what, there's a few battle rappers in the past that shall not be named that have like kind of gone, crossed the line to, you know what I mean? I think now it's, if you're a really good MC, a really good lyricist, someone that's got a good pen, you don't need to take low blows into people's like personal life, family, kids, wife. Like you can break someone down without going that route.
And that's the development now that you guys are in now, because the artistry of freestyling is so like technically savvy, like the way you guys write your freestyles and your rhymes or whatever. Where once upon a time the freestyle scene was pretty gangster. You know what I mean? Like it was pretty. We talk about 1 ounce, but it was literally like drop a line on someone and then it was 1 ounce. I've seen videos of like in the 90s, early 90s, and there's like full on like riots going on because of stuff that's happened at a freestyle battle and stuff. So it's a sign of the times. And you're talking before about like the amount of bars you got to write to be able to get multiple bars put together for your battles.
Yeah.
You got to give it up also to those writers that write. I mean, I was on the road for a couple of weeks with Lloyd Banks.
Yeah.
You know, and Tony A was telling me, he keeps talking about Lloyd Banks because they call him Blue.
Yeah.
He's going, Blue's got like 200, 300 songs in the bank just sitting there that are just written. You know, they got these books that are just, even now today, just full of rhymes and that sort of thing. So I give it up to you guys because I struggle enough to write a Valentine's Day card to my missus. You know, so I mean, big ups for you guys. Where do you want to see the scene head in the next sort of year or two? Where do you think it's going to head?
It's going in a good direction at the moment. We've got a lot of new guys who understand the scene. There hasn't been dramas at any events in a long time. I'd just like to see it continue going that way. Possibly start moving from nightclubs into actual venues, like that do gigs.
Yep.
Usually, 500 plus, and just keep doing internationals, and just keep building the culture.
Yeah, there's some big sort of called major leagues in the States, Canada. I'd like to see some New Zealand artists go over there and represent.
Yeah.
On behalf, that would be me, because these guys, JP80, his boys, the other battle rappers, they got the goods if they keep going.
A lot of unearthed talent in New Zealand. Like look what the hip hop dance crews do over in America.
Straight up.
Like straight up, sass, kill over there. So, who is, before we get ready to head off, who's the greatest freestyler of all time?
Freestyler,
battle rapper, whatever.
You can't. That's too hard.
What about your favorite?
My favorite at the moment, there's this guy. You're gonna laugh at his name. His name's New Jersey Twerk.
Okay.
Oh, no, he's dope.
So
I like the name.
He's from Jersey.
Reminds me of my Friday
he's
nights.
He's from the days when like twerk was like street work. About that, like back in the days.
Yeah.
But he's a young cat in the States that he's being retweeted from. You name it, any hip hop artist, they know who he is. That has some sort of idea of like hip hop culture. They know who New Jersey Twerk is. They know Geechee Gotti. There's a few cats at the moment that they're pulling like 3, 4, 5, 6 million views a battle. And events that are bringing in like 2,000 people, like Gramercy. So yeah, man. But I mean, the greatest of all time is, the argument for this guy, Loaded Lux. A lot of people know who he is. But I mean, there's just too many to name, man. Like, it's just
Yeah, I'm kind of like on the other side, like JP's on the URL side. I'm kind of on the King of the Dot side. So I'd have to say Disaster, because he's a massive name. He battled here. We met him. We hung out with him for a week. It was awesome, and he starred in the Bodied movie. He's blowing up. He's been on DJ Kelly's video as an extra and stuff like that this year. So he's really making it big now, and he's just like a god of battle rap. Like the stuff he comes up with is just like, how does he even think of like 57 multis for one word? It's like
My favorite is probably the Captain Not Even P-Fec. Local hero. So he's the main event too for us.
He's going to be
upcoming event.
Awesome. Just a quick question. So are you focusing on the battle rap scene as an, I guess, an artist now, and then later transition into music, or do you try and balance both, or you just focus on
me and like some of the other guys, like we're back and forth, like we want to do stuff like on beat, like freestyles and stuff like that. I don't know, man, just whatever comes our way. We're trying to keep things organic at the moment. Just do what just comes our way, trying to make sure that everything we do is true to who we are. I mean, we like battle rap, we like writing, but yeah, maybe I'm not ruling it out. Cool. Who knows? Yeah.
Cool.
All right, man. Well, Face the Hate 5 going down March 28th, Velvet on Cross in Auckland, Tamaki Makaurau. It's going to be dope. We're going to see some talented battle rappers, freestylers. Where can they buy tickets anyway?
Yeah, just off us on Facebook.
Yep, no worries. So just search on Facebook, 1 Ounce NZ.
Yep.
And get all the details you need if you want to go check out Face the Hate 5, March 28th. Velvet on Cross.
Yeah.
Brothers, thank you for coming in today. It's a pleasure to meet you guys, and
Absolutely.
man, I tell you what, we might have to head along to that.
Yeah,
March 28th.
I'll come to you.
Yo,
Cool.
straight up.
That's
Appreciate
awesome.
it, man. All right, brothers, that's culture.
You'll see, all right?